We've all been forced to work from home because of the pandemic, but in a recent YouGov SkillsCast survey, 1 in 5 employers admitted to either installing software to snoop on their staff or said that they had planned to. Now, the software in use can log how long it takes for workers to read and reply to emails. It can check your attendance in meetings and even in some cases, secretly film you through your screens. So is digitally spying on workers just due diligence, or are some companies breaching the trust of their employees? And as an employee, how do you protect your privacy?
This is a big yikes for me. I couldn't believe it when I read this. We were also talking about it at work and I was just like, I can't believe companies are actually doing this. Yes, we've moved to working from home. Yes, it's a more like relaxed and flexible environment, which I'm not ashamed to say I really love. I really love being able to do what I want in the day and, walk away from my desk and do the washing up or put the laundry on and then come back and, answer some emails. I really feel like this is the way forward for working. We don't have to commute in every day. I do think being able to do that and maintain that flexible environment is also down to having a great deal of trust between your employer and employee. They've got to trust that you're going to be able to deliver the work to a high standard, deliver work on time, and do things that they are tracking, like attend meetings, not leave emails too long, read messages when they come through. I do think that's also down to the employee really wanting to do their job well as well, though. I think when things start to slip, that's more a reflection on the employee and what's going on in their life and how they feel about the job. But also, we're human. We're going to have off days. We're going to have days where we just don't feel as motivated as we used to. We've been in our houses now for nearly a year doing this work from home thing. I think we're allowed a day where things are going to slip. I think it's a massive invasion of privacy to be able to spy on your employees and, do whatever tech thing they're doing to hack into our webcams and watch us while we work. I just don't think that that's fair. I think, shout out to my manager. I have an amazing manager who really trusts me to just get my job done and get it done well and deliver on time. I think we need to businesses need to reinvest their resources that they are using to spy and track these people into training their managers, their staff, to do their jobs right and do them well, so that you don't need to worry about how long it's taking for them to reply and what they're doing in the 10 minutes between one call and another. I just don't think it's really necessary.
I think for me, I think it's a massive breach of trust. And there needs to be some sort of, if you're going to do it, you have to inform them. The point is, people are working out of their homes. This is not, it would be inappropriate if you were filming them in the office or whatever and they didn't know about it. But in people's private spaces, they have a right to privacy there, number one. Number two, what I don't seem to get about this, and Lauren touched on it briefly, is that do these 1 in 5 managers care more about that you're working the full 8 hours or that you get the work done? Because productivity is very different to bums on seats. And I think I really wish managers were getting to the point, all managers, because some are there already, where they're actually, it's better that they get the work done rather than me checking that they get it done. If they get it in on time, if it's of a fantastic standard, if they're responding to the emails, if they're following up on everything, do I really need to know if they're sitting in their seat the entire time? I don't understand the logic of that. And all it's going to do is breed distrust amongst your staff members. And they're not going to want to work any harder. If that was me and I knew I was being filmed, I'm going to punch the clock. And as soon as my time is done, I'm gone. You're not going to catch me past 501, I'm done. So I don't think in the long run, it really breeds a very good work culture.
Yeah, I think I understand the sentiment of wanting to make sure that the same like level productivity and work is being produced at home as it would be in the office, but I don't think spying is the means to get that understanding. And I feel like if you think that you need to spy on your staff members to check if the work's getting done, then maybe they shouldn't be your staff members, because you're basically saying that you don't trust them to do the work. So why did you hire them in the first place? You like I just think that's just a bit silly. I mean, personally for me, if a company told me that they were gonna be filming me, or they've got some sort of software that tracks how long I take to read and reply emails, that would be such a massive breach of trust, and I probably wouldn't even really want to work there anymore, because I would just feel like it's too weird. It's really weird, and we're in this weird state already of being in my house, which is private, but going to work, and so but working in my house. And I already don't like the idea of, which I know we have to do, but I hate being at home and whilst working at home having to be on so many video call meetings, because it's like it's my house. I don't want to have to keep having the camera on so you can see the things in my house, and you keep asking me what's that in the background, blah blah blah, because this is my private space. So I already feel like a massive intrusion on that side of things. So only imagine if they were secretly filming me and timekeeping me, like that would be like an extreme intrusion that I just feel like I wouldn't be able to cope with. And I don't even understand what these measures mean. What if I need to read this one email for an hour because I don't understand what's being said? Like, that's my prerogative. Let me gain my understanding in my own time. Like, you can't time how long it takes for me to read something and to reply. I just think it's all silly. And in regards to employees protecting their privacy, it's a tough one. I think if they've told you that they're going to do this, it's all down to whether you are consenting or participating in it or not. And then if they haven't told you that they're going to do this, obviously you don't know what's going on. But I am one of those paranoid people that covers like the camera on my laptop and things like that to make sure nobody is secretly watching me. But thankfully, I work from my personal laptop. Although work said they will send me a laptop, so now I'm very scared of what's going to be on this laptop. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I just to pick up on something you said there, Anissa, I think the original question was, what should employees do to protect their privacy? Leave the company, because I don't have time for companies that serve this level of distrust to their employees. We're working full-time, part-time for these companies to give them a profit. They are profiting from us being there. We are also profiting from working there, and we are growing and developing and, building our careers with these people. But if you don't have that trust that I'm going to work to the best of my ability, and yes, sometimes it's going to take me longer to read an email, like you said, Anissa. Yes, sometimes it's going to take me longer to do a PowerPoint deck, which is 70 slides. And sometimes I'm not going to want to do that in the day. Sometimes I need like quiet time at night to just get my head into it and do it. That's going to completely throw all of your stats off that you're tracking me. And that's going to make me feel worse about the kind of way that I'm working and the work that I'm doing. And as Sophie said, over time, that's going to really create quite a toxic company culture that I'm just not going to stay around for. So I think there's definitely a level of communication that's needed. And so if you need to protect your privacy, think about why those conversations are happening and why you're even having to think about that in the first place.
Yeah. And I think one of the issues is knowing your rights as well, because you have to look at your staff handbook. For my previous organization, when my time was wrapping up there, trust me, my head was in that staff handbook to understand exactly what my rights were, what was possible, what wasn't possible. And usually your staff handbook is going to outline certain measures that they can or can't take. And it's not the sexy stuff. And it's never the stuff that's at the top of the handbook, trust me. But like, you need to know, because the laws around this are so shady. They're saying the point is that the government's kind of like, oh, you can spy on an employee if you think that they could be breaking the law. But I'm like, what does that mean? Taking an extra hour for my lunch break? Like, is that enough of a breaking of some sort of law for you to think that you can look at me and what's going on? And I think in the pandemic, it's really time for companies and workers to really be pulling for more legalization around this, because we don't know how much longer COVID's going to go on for. There's talk of not letting kids back into school until after like the Easter holidays. Like this could be going on for a while, and people shouldn't feel like they're unsafe in their household. And to be fair, if I've spoken to my boss and I have to be a carer for someone who's self-isolating, I don't think that I should be expected to be having the same level of productivity, because we're working in very, very strange and difficult times. So I think like Lauren was saying, she said she has a great manager, to be able to have those conversations and really talk about what's the expectation going to be for me to work from home? Can I work from 6 a.m. and do that? Like have these conversations so it's not at the point where people are feeling like there's no trust there.
I think that's so important, Sophie. Just to touch on something you said about, you know, we've all been through such a tough year as it is. This transition to working from home has really taken a toll on a lot of people, and majority, like maybe not majority, but there are a lot of people in positions in these companies who are probably most likely to be spied on. They've got children, they've got families around them, they've got people who, if you're looking into my life and you're looking at what I have to go through each day to get the job done and also maintain the household that I live in and also work from that same household and also deal with being in the middle of a global pandemic, please cut me some slack. Don't add this extra pressure that I've got to be as time efficient as possible. I've got to be performing to the best of my ability every single day. Yes, you may want to do those things, but as I said at the start, we're all human. Just, you know, I think we've all got bigger fish to fry, and companies can reinvest their time in better ways.
Massively, and I definitely agree with you. And the more that I've kind of sat and thought about it, I just think it's just creepy. Like, why would you need to watch me through the screen? Like, I'm actually just thinking about it. It's just creepy and it's weird. Like, I just don't understand why that would be your go-to option. Like, if you want to know if I'm doing work, you can call me, ask me what I've done today or something like that. But I think there's so much better ways that you could use. And I'm with Sophie, you have to know your rights, because a lot of these policies are put in place to protect the organization or the manager versus you as the employee. So you have to understand your rights and then also be able to set your own boundaries, because otherwise people will take advantage, especially these companies, honey. They like to take a lot of advantage. But I just find the whole thing just even creepy to think about. Could you imagine that you're typing away, somebody secretly watching you? It's just weird.
It'll be too much for me. But what would you do if your manager asks you to spy on another member of staff?
No. It's a no. It's a massive no. I just don't understand the need for it. Like, trust your employees, trust that they're going to do their jobs well, and trust that they're doing the best of their ability to get their job done with everything else that we're dealing with in our lives.
See, I think I tried to play the game a little bit. I would just be like, okay. And then I'd go to that other employee and say, this is what they want me to do. And so then maybe we could tag team and confront the situation together. Because my only fear is if I confront my manager and say, no, I'm not doing this, then this person could turn against me and start, I don't know, who knows what. So I think I would strategize at first. Maybe I've watched too many like true crime things. So I'm just always thinking like everyone has no good to them. But I would strategize.